All right. All right, everyone is here. Welcome to day 2. Are we excited? Drop some fires in the chat. Let's get the energy going. Come on, Tinkerbell. Drop some bells in the chat. Let me see it. Let me see it.
Tinkerbell drop some bells.
Yes, she's our cheerleader. Tinkerbell,
I
drop
dropped
some bells
pixie
in the
dust.
chat.
I dropped
Yes.
pixie dust, pixie dust.
I love it. Miss Shirley Jones, our day 1 is here. Miss Shirley Jones, welcome, welcome, welcome all of our Consumer Law Secrets University members and our new students to be. We can't wait to have you. Let's kick off day 2. You know how it goes. Raise your hands with your burning questions. Those of you who didn't get to ask questions yesterday, raise your hands. I remember, I don't see her here as yet. And remember a couple people that didn't get to ask yesterday. I think April, you were one of them. Definitely raise your hands. All right.
It was
So
Evie and
Evie,
Win. Those were the two that were gonna go first.
you're right. You're right. You're right. Evie's in here as yet. So Win, if you're not ready, we're gonna go ahead with the first hand up, which is Timothy. Timothy, go ahead, King. The mic is yours.
Tim, what's going on, my guy?
Hold on. Pace. Okay. How you doing today, sir?
I'm great, brother, man. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm great. Just to top it off, I wanted to tell you that the creditor was LVNV.
Yes, so that made LVNV is not really a creditor. They're a debt collector.
I mean, I'm sorry. Well, they worded on this document like they're the creditor. They sent me a court to appear.
1 second. Nish, can you spotlight him for me?
We only can spotlight if you turn on your camera, so please go ahead and turn on your camera if you can, Timothy, even if you're not able to show face.
Okay, let me see what's going on. I can't even do that. I don't even know how to do it.
Bottom left.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
All right, bottom left. So if you look at bottom left.
I'm going to prompt you there. I'm going to give you a prompt. I'm going to ask you to start your video. You're going to see a pop-up.
Oh, got it. I see.
Awesome.
I'm in my room too. That's why I'm kind of like a little shy with it. But it's okay though. I'm not like Dwayne. So got the whole Versace thing going on. But
it's all good. All right. So LVNV funding, what are they saying?
They're just saying that they wanted to they sent me a whole bunch of documents to give up my personal information.
What was the first document that they sent to you, and how long ago was it?
February.
Okay, so it was February. What did they send to you?
That I owe a debt, and I had a month to respond.
To respond. Okay. So February, so that would put you to March for a response.
Right.
What day in February?
I think it was like the 3rd or something crazy like that.
Okay, so tentatively, you would have until March 3rd to respond, and then that would be your 30-day before they can assume the debt to be valid.
Right.
So when it comes to that validation period, have you ever heard the maxim silence is acquiescence? Basically what that says, guys, is if you get a notice or a presentment and there's a time clock attached to it, meaning that you're supposed to respond in a certain amount of time, if you do not respond in that time frame, it's assumed that you got the notice and you agree to what they're saying, therefore no response is needed. That's what that implies. So when you get these presentments, you must respond, and responding appropriately is key. So whenever you get a presentment or notice for validation of something like that from a debt collector, what you want to send them now is your notice for validations of debt pursuant 12 CFR 1006.34C. So that would have been the number 1 response. My next question to you is this: is that account showing on your credit?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So it's showing on your credit. When did it pop up on your credit?
A while ago. It was
a while, a year, 2 years, 3 years.
Let's say about a year.
A year ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the next question I have for you is this: what type of debt is it? The reason why different debts have different statute of limitations, and based on the state that you're in, we could Google it. So what state are you in?
New Jersey.
All right. So what you want to do is, where is, okay. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to go to Google or something like that, and then you want to open up a tab. What type of debt?
Would you consider it like a credit card?
Okay. Limitation on collecting credit card debt in New Jersey. So you would go into Google like that, and as you can see, the New Jersey statute of limitation on debt in New Jersey is 6 years. All right. So all right, we know New Jersey sucks because it's 6 years. Okay, cool. So now the next question you want to ask yourself is, when did this debt go delinquent, or when did it go into default, right? So when was the last time you made a payment on this alleged debt?
Okay, from my understanding, this bet was sold. It's like what you've been telling us. Like
no, it don't mean about the sold. When was the last payment ever made on this account? Because that's when the clock starts.
A while ago, like years ago.
So you gotta know your dates.
Yeah. Okay.
So you gotta go back and find out when was the last. Because if it's past the statute, okay. So we're in what now? 2024, right?
Right.
Let's say it was 2017, right? Just for argument's sake, let's just say it was 2017 that the last payment was made. Well, from 2017 to now, that we're approaching 7 years.
Right.
Are you following where I'm going with this? So
yes,
the 6-year statute of limitation would have passed, so they cannot legally collect anymore. That's why it's important to know your dates.
I got you.
And then you want to find out, okay, what is required for a debt collector to operate in the state of New Jersey? Should they be licensed? Should they be bonded? Like, these are things now, these are the type of questions you want to ask yourself.
Got it. It's actually a lawyer trying to collect it for.
Yeah, so they're using a law firm as their henchman, basically. But
Right.
the law still applies to them the same way.
Got it.
But you wanna know these details first, because knowing this stuff is a matter. Okay, are they violating my rights when it comes to attempting to collecting on this debt? How often are they calling me? Are they calling you more than one time within a 7-day iteration? Right? Because a debt collector now, under the new law, they can only call once per 7 day per account. Right? So did they call you 2 times? Did they call you 3 times? These are some of the stuff you want to know. If it appeared on your credit, let's say a year or 2 ago, that means it came on after the no parking rule was in effect. And that came as the new FDCPA on November 30th, 2021. So now we're talking about, did they send you the proper notice before they attempted to put the account on your credit? So that there's 2 parts to this. So after November 30th, 2021, the law says that before a debt collector, debt buyer, can put anything on your credit, they must, and they must attempt to collect. They must attempt to contact, they must attempt to contact the consumer to whom this alleged debt is related to. Meaning, before they put it on your consumer report, they should have made contact with you, sending out some form of notice that, hey, we have this alleged debt, and we want to know if this alleged debt belongs to you, and we're giving you a time to respond. Now, if 14 days passes and they receive no response from you, then they can assume the debt to be valid again. And that gives them now the right. So when you're talking about LVNV funding, and when we're talking about the no parking rule, we want to know now as a request, did you send out the notice that stated you need to contact the consumer regarding the alleged debt before you put this alleged debt on your consumer report? And as I can see, you put this alleged debt on my consumer report this date, which means the no parking rule was in effect. So now I'm asking you to prove that you send out the proper notice. You get what I'm saying? So when you know the steps that's supposed to happen, it's easy for you to get these stuff deleted. And if you decide to take them to court, you have more than enough evidence. That's why it's important that you ask these questions. But the most important thing is the timelines, because the timelines must make sense. We can't talk about no parking if the debt was put on your credit in 2020. You see what I'm saying?
Got it.
Because the no parking rule didn't apply in 2020. It applies in 2021, November to be specific. So it would be debts after November 30th, 2021. So it's knowing the timelines and using the right dispute method. All right?
Got it.
I know that was a little bit long-winded, but guys, collection isn't a 1-2, I'm going to send a cease and desist and it solves all my problems. No, it's situational based because there's so many different angles to debt collection. And this is what we're going to be covering today. All right, Nish, back to you.
All right. Up next, we have Win. Win, you are up.
Hey, Dwayne.
What's going on? Did you run the homework play?
No, I was stuck working. I'm sorry.
Oh, you were working. Y'all better come too with y'all homework. I'm telling you, y'all better come with this homework.
Trust me, I wanted to. I literally just walked in the house.
All right, what you got?
All right. Actually, I had an interesting thing for that. Really, just how would you handle the situation? From yesterday, what I was going to tell you is I had someone contact me, and long story short, he went to apply for assistance because he couldn't work, so he went to apply for assistance, and they informed him that someone opened up an unemployment account in his name.
Identity theft.
Right, correct. Stay at my video. Hold on a second. The host has started video. Okay. And someone opened up an account, an unemployment claim in his name, and posted a check and deposited a check electronic into someone's account.
All right. So my question to you is this: did your client file an identity theft report or a police report regarding the matter?
He's in the process. I told him to do that. So he's
all right. That's very
that
important because he's going to need that document to take to wherever they file the unemployment or to get the benefit. He's gonna or she's gonna need to submit that report and with an affidavit, letting them know that I was not the one that opened this account and I'm a victim of identity theft. From there will be some form of investigation, but it should absolve the person of the responsibility or the obligation where that part is concerned.
He also went down to the child support office, and they told him the company that actually did it. And when he requested for them to give them the information of the document where he signed when this account was opened up and where they sent that check, they basically told him it was state property, and they couldn't give it to him.
Well, they can say whatever they want. So right. if this becomes, the first thing is the identity theft report. It's very important. That's the step one, because nothing's really gonna work out in his favor until he really gets that document, right? Whether it's the FTC or the police record. And in this case, I rather a police record than an FTC because they both carry equal weight, but I just think the police report, the authentic police report, is recognized more than the FTC report, even though they both do the same thing. But in from what I've seen, I think the the police report gets recognized a lot more. So I would go that route, and then from there, if there's any adverse action taken against your client now, this is where your clients did the right thing. They filed a report, they made the complaint. Your client should also do a FTC and a CFPB complaint. That's going to be very, very important because these are things that they can use to support their case. If your client's able to write a letter, you can submit complaints to the state attorney general. State attorney generals also work on behalf of citizens in situations like this with debt collectors and creditors, especially when it involves identity theft. So the state, the attorney general for the state that your client is in, that's going to be a great resource. So now let's say that your client does need the assistance, right? And applies, but get denied. This evidence can be used to say, hey, this was not me. This was done with someone that stole my identity. I made the report. I logged the complaints. Here are all the agencies I filed a complaint with. So I should not be penalized for this. But now, if they go on to be stupid like we know they will, it gives your client no leverage if your client decides to sue.
Right. Okay. I got room for one quick more.
Yeah, what you got?
Okay. How would you, is there a way that for person child support, person actually signed the birth certificate, but they and still has some ridges? How would you, is it possible to get rid of those ridges or
All right. So you're talking
um,
about the arrears, right?
yes.
All right. So I have somebody coming in on Thursday. So
Okay.
I want y'all to save all your child support question. So Lionel Tillman, he is the author of Child Support is Fraud. And this
Okay.
guy is a beast with child support. So I'm going to bring him in on Thursday. So for those of you that have child support question, like this is where you want to ask them. Long
Okay.
story short, he sued child support and he went back 20 years and
Ouch.
won the case and they had to pay him. So
Ouch.
he's gonna have a lot of insights. And I'm not
Okay.
talking about someone who read a book and talked about this. I'm talking about someone that couldn't even go on his honeymoon because his passport got taken by child support.
Right.
His license
Right.
got taken by child support.
Mhm.
And he fought the system and won. So I'm gonna have him here on Thursday. He's gonna be covering the child support session. And like I said, if you guys got child support questions, this is the class you do not want to miss. All right. So save your
What'd you say
child
his name
support
was?
question for Thursday. Just if you
Would you?
Google child support is fraud, he'll come up because he has a trademark.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Yep, no problem. All right, back to you, Nish.
All right. Thank you, Win. Thank you also for starting your camera. All right, up next is, thank you. Up next, we have Karen Tinkerbell. You are up, Queen.
Hi, Doreen. I'm so glad that you're back to 100%.
Yes, I claimed it. It's back.
Okay, so remember when you did the class that you told us on arbitration and small claims, this is the method in which to do it. You go to R1, then R2, and then R3, like that, and you gave us all the steps.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, because a couple of us were working the actual CLSU online together and trying to find that same method, but for everything else. Is there a way that we could possibly get like a flow chart or a pie or something, an
Nope,
Excel sheet?
nope. Remember, I addressed this last week. The goal of it is to have you think. Can I make the flow chart? Yes. But then it eliminates the process of thinking because each round one is different based on the type of account. There won't be one dispute letter for all round ones. Round one is depending on the type of account you are tackling, but in essence, it's the same thing. What are you disputing? Because a round one collection is different based on the communication and interaction with the collection agency. So I can't say that a notice for validation of debt is the optimal round one for all collections account when it could be something as simple as a no parking rule, or it could be something as simple as the collection company doesn't even have jurisdiction to collect or any right or legal aspect to collect because it's outside the statute of limitation. So that's the reason why I won't make the flow chart, because I need y'all to think about, okay, what is my situation? What happened? Okay, I got a call from a debt collector. Okay, what time did the debt collector? Like, these are the things you have to go through in order to put the whole framework together.
Okay, and we understand that, and we get it. We want to learn. What we don't want to do is make a mistake. So my
But
question was,
mistakes are how you learn. That's why we have our coaching calls.
right,
So
but
if you do something, come on the coaching call and we'll talk about it. But making it will not do justice. It won't. It will take away the thinking factor of what makes it unique and what makes you get your answer without drawing to a sheet.
okay, so are you opposed? Like, let's say that I have a couple of customers right now, right? And I want to say on the next time, not this, I know this is a challenge week, but let's say that I get it all together and next Monday when we have our call, I say, hey, this is their issue. Is this correct? This would be my round 1, 2, 3, da, da,
Yeah,
da.
that's why we have the coaching calls. That's the reason for the coaching calls.
Right, but then
The
that way
coaching
I know,
calls, no,
right,
the
but I just
coaching
want to,
calls are to evaluate what you're doing to see if you're going on the right route. So that's the whole purpose of why we do it.
right, because what I want to do is I want to put an Excel sheet together saying, okay, all cases that are similar to this is the way to go. And then I already have the flow and I don't have to be searching for it.
No, you can build your flow if you want to. It's your flow.
Okay. All
That's
right,
totally
that was it.
fine.
That was
Yeah,
all.
but the coaching call is where we discuss, because the thing you want to take into consideration is, okay, saying that no two persons will have the same credit report, right? And learning the intricacies of what makes the dispute is hearing the person's situation. That's why there's sometimes we have to build new letters in the university, because someone's situation is so different. It's like, yo, it's a hybrid. Like, we have to use maybe 4 different laws in this round 1 letter because of the interaction and what has happened over the duration of the account. Would it be months, years, or the telephone calls that came in? So you'll try to streamline it as much as you can, but you won't have a full streamlined process because of the unique situation that everyone comes in with. You could categorize them where, okay, how do you evaluate someone for the no parking rule? How do you know when to send out a volunteer non-fit injury? So it's going to be different, and it's all situational based. That's why the intake part of when you're having clients, the intaking and the consultation is so important, because that's where you discover what's going on. It's like triage. You have to triage this credit report to find out what's going on and asking the right questions. So a question could be, when we're dealing with debt collectors, what are some of the questions we should be asking? That now can be put into a document because it's a part of your triage process.
Right.
When we're talking about a charge off, what could be possibly the questions that I ask the client? Did they get a Form 1099-C? You get what I'm saying? So you can streamline the questions, because the questions will relatively remain the same, but the approach is going to be different based on the questions. Let me give you another example. Remember when we talk about we sending out a round 1, and what are the possible responses for a round 1? They can either ignore you, right? That's one. They can ignore you. They could send a stall letter. Ignore you, stall you, say it's validated, verified, or accurate.
Right.
but each one triggers something different. That's why the round 2 will be different based on the response.
Right.
It's like the triage.
Right.
It's
It's
like
just like
that's the
any other
triage
flow
process.
chart. Yeah, that's what I do with my tax clients. Depending on what they have is the kind of documents that I have to do. Not everybody gets a schedule 1, 2, or 3. Not everybody gets a schedule A. It all depends on what they're bringing to me. So I understand the process. I just want to make it easier for me to look at and also for me to train, because in order for me to train a team later on, I
You
already
have needed
have to have
some form of
process in
streamlined
place.
process, correct?
Right. Yeah.
But you would have to build yours out based on what you're seeing.
Right.
And then now, if you're unsure about a process, you bring it up on our coaching call and we dissect it.
Okay.
And I think that will be helpful because it will cover many different topics.
Right.
And it will give you guys a broader spectrum of things to choose from.
Of course. By the way, just to help Timothy out, there are 4 attorneys on YouTube, because I have a YouTube channel that discuss how to beat LVNV specifically because of the fact of how many fraudulent things they do and how many flawed methods they use. So if he actually goes to YouTube, I wrote it to him in the chat, but I don't know if he saw it. He can
But it's the whole process of the it's the whole reason why we do this. Remember, LVNV, if you're going to go after any creditor or debt collector, it's based on your specific situation. So it goes back to the evaluation. That's why the process must be evaluated. What happened? Okay. What was the first line of contact? They called me once upon a time. Okay. Did they send a letter? So everyone's situation will be different. LVNV is no different from portfolio, is no different from IC system. They're all debt collectors. What makes it unique is the process of the communication, the line of communication, and what happened. That's where your damages come from. That's where your violations come from. That's where you will find out what my situation is, because your experience with LVNV might be different from somebody else's. But what's key is learning how to evaluate. That's where the money is. The money is in the evaluation, because if the situation is not evaluated correctly, then you can state claim that's not there. You can state violations that not there. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And in doing our triage, meaning evaluating the situation from the first line of communication to where we presently are, this is where now you will take out what violations are there, how many violations are there, and now you can decide, am I going small claims? Well, what's small claims in my state? If you're in Georgia, you know it's 15,000. New York, it's 10. Okay, so maybe that's a little bit too less than what I want. Maybe I want to go to state. So it's all dependent on the person. The YouTube account that you're talking about, you could copy the URL and drop it as a resource in the Facebook group so people can go on there and watch, and that will help with their evaluation. But the key takeaway when it comes to debt collection is the evaluation of what happened. That's where the money is, that's where the deletion is, and that's where you are going to get paid.
So what happens, and this is because of LVNV, because LVNV is the one that got ONL Law Group. Remember when I discussed with you that ONL Law Group had gone in and then gone to my bank and taken money out? What LVNV did was they served me supposedly at an address I hadn't lived in 6 years, and a county that I hadn't lived in 8 years. And so they took that as, oh, they served me. They went to court. Of course, I didn't show up. We discussed this before. And then they got a judgment. Then they got ONL Law Group to then take that judgment, take it into a branch of one of the banks that I bank with, and then freeze all of my accounts.
And it goes back to you evaluating your situation, writing down the facts and suing them. So this is you have to go after them.
Yeah.
You must go back after the primary. And in this case, the primary would be LVNV. And it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Because you can prove all the things that you're saying. The only thing left is you going after them. Put your ducks in a row and go after them. The evidence is on your side. So it's you now making the decision. You know what? I'm sick and tired of this. Now it's time for me to come for you. And there's so many things you're going to learn in the process, but it's a part of the process. So
Right.
you now have to decide, I am going to go back after them for remedy and for fraud. You can prove this.
Mhm.
It's a decision now you have to make. Go after them.
Right. Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dan.
Go after them with everything you got.
Oh yeah, don't worry, I am.
It's a say, remember Timothy? I don't not Timothy. Thomas. Thomas, are you here? Where is Thomas? Thomas.
I see him on the screen. He has his hand
I'm
raised.
Oh,
I'm
he's
here.
all right. Thomas, could you share? You don't have to go into details. Could you share a little bit of your story? I think Karen has a very similar story to yours, and I want to know what made you decide enough was enough, and it's time for me to just go and take action, and basically you got your check.
So each of the banks were like a lot of banks, they charge you overdraft fees. Some
Mm.
may be legitimate or some maybe not, depending on, what you feel they should be or not. But I had a bunch of fees, and then I had some money extracted from my account. They just literally went into one of my business accounts with no authority and just took it.
Mm-hmm.
So in each of the instances, I went to the branches, I talked to the branch manager.
I remember.
I got as high as almost a CEO with one of them. At every turn, it was a no. Oh, we can't do this. You're allowed one fee per year, whatever they could make the excuse. And they would send you off to other higher managers that you just get the runaround, like double talk, lawyer talk, right? And at the end, I just realized that, nothing's ever going to happen unless I sent some letters, ignored. I started documenting everything. I would call, I would ask questions, record it.
Record the conversations. That was key.
Catch them in their lies. And then when I would write letters, I would send them certified, no responses. And then it got to the point where I just said, you know what, I have enough evidence now and enough violations. I'm going to shop it with attorneys. And then I just kept shopping it. And a few said no, a bunch said no, 6, 7.
A bunch of them said no.
And then I finally got a firm who said, you know what, I'll take these cases. And the total dollar amount, if I was to add up the fees they charged me, it probably came to a little bit under $1,000 in fees. And these attorneys wouldn't take the case. And now it's 8 months later, and we've settled for $950,000.
So, Tinkerbell, what's my point here?
Can he share his attorney? That's the point.
No, that's not the point. The point is, when you come, when you need things to happen, things will happen, but nothing happens until you decide that something must happen. So the resource that you use, Thomas, the attorneys that you used, if you're open to sharing them, I would definitely like for you to share it, because there's people, especially Tinkerbell, and I know, like, based on what the conversation that we've heard, I know she has a strong case. Because she can prove all of it, from being in the hospital to not being served to the default judgment being fraudulent. It's going to be an easy case, but you got to decide that, okay, I am going to do this.
Right.
So
no, I did, and I tried to go with my attorney, which Anna.
Yeah, your
Anna
attorney
couldn't
sucks.
get
Yeah, your attorney sucks.
And you're gonna get nationwide firms who say no. Some of them, because one of the banks is worth $100 billion. Some of them just said, I'm not going to fight that bank. So it's a matter of finding the David the Beef Goliath, but you're going to find a firm who has that niche. And between your belief and your documents and your evidence, it's just irrefutable that in your gut, I have to win.
Mine is a small credit union. It's Space Coast. It's not a big bank.
No, still go after them.
That's fine.
Don't take no pity or no. Were they taking pity when you were in the hospital and they were draining your bank accounts?
Oh, absolutely not. What I'm telling him is that it wouldn't be a case of an attorney saying, "Oh no, they're too big," because it's not a big bank.
No, it's fair game. Everybody gets it. It's fair game. So I'd say
one of the institutions was a credit union that I sued.
So share that resource, Thomas, and Karen, you can directly message Thomas, and then y'all can go from there.
Yeah,
And
send me.
then yeah, and then we'll share that resource inside the university Facebook group. Your hand was up, Thomas. You had some questions?
You know what? Just yesterday when you were doing the 1681 I6B3 procedures in case of disputed accuracy.
Correct.
I got a response letter from EWS basically saying that, you know, everything is verified and accurate. So I'm writing my response. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Oh, this is good. Talk to me.
Contents, because I'm telling them now that I want a description of all the procedures used to determine the accuracy and completeness of the information in my
So
file.
there's a letter already prepared for you. Go into the university, and there's a section called how to get paid for bad credit.
Okay.
You're going to see a tab marked how to get paid for bad credit. Once you're in there, you're going to go to the letters. You should see about 7 letters in there.
Okay.
And then there's a letter that says when they respond verified. It's something like that.
Yeah, because my second line, I'm asking for the copies of the documents they use. Basically, whatever.
You don't want to mix in your language.
Okay.
It's important that you use the language that's there.
All right, so I'll get rid of that.
It's already prepared for you.
Perfect.
Just fill in what you need to do. So just log into the university, go to how to get paid for bad credit. And then once you go there, you're going to see the letters. There's 7 of them. And you're looking for the one that says when they respond verified. That's the one you look for. Or when you open it, you'll see I6B3 response. It should say something like round 2, I6B3 when you open the letter. It might not be the name of it. So if you don't see the name, just open up all of them. But the one that you want is the round 2, I6B3. That's the one you want.
Okay, yeah, I see there's 6 of them here. I'll just open each one. Perfect.
Yeah, just open them. You're looking for the I6B3 one. And the other thing I want you to keep in mind too, Thomas. So you see when you send this out, I6B3 triggers I7. So write this down.
Okay.
An I6B3 round 2 triggers an I7 timeline. I7 is 15 days. So when you send out your I6B3 round 2, they have 15 days to respond to you. So it's important that you're tracking the timeline. So when you send it out certified mail, and make sure you get it notarized as well. When you send it out certified mail, you want to know when it got delivered. Your 15-day time clock starts from when they receive it. So if you did not get a response in 15 days from this company, you will now send out the I7 response, but you're doing 2 things there. I probably should just wait until you get there before we discuss it.
I found the letter though. It's R2.
You found it. There you go. But since we're already heading down this rabbit hole, all right, so you see when you send out the I6B3 and it gives them 15 days, it triggers I7. If you do not get a response within the 15 days, then I7 violation is now in order. And this is where now you will see round 3 settlement letter. And that round 3 settlement letter is where now you will offer them, basically you're telling them what you want your remedy to be. But at the same time, Thomas, you're going to go down to small claims because this, you can just do small claims for this. What state are you in?
New Jersey.
What's your
15
small claims amount? 15,000? Yeah, that's not bad for 15,000. Yeah, so you would do you can do small claims for this, and the small claims now will go from an A1A to an I6B3 to an I7 violation, and then now we go to 15 USC 1681N and 1681O, and these are like your 5 violations that now you will put inside of your notice of claim to start your lawsuit. So this is going to be like a slam dunk. Huh?
The I7 letter is in there also?
Yeah, the I7 letter is there.
Okay. I'll find it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. Great questions, Thomas. Great questions. All right, Nish, who's
All
up
right.
next?
Yes, so before we go into the next person, for those who are just joining us, the challenge, this session or this segment is called the Brain Picker segment. All right, so yes, there will be a live lesson. So at 8 o'clock, we will begin the lecture session where Doreen will start to tonight's topic. Doreen, he will be breaking down. What are your topics for tonight, Doreen?
We're doing collections tonight.
Collections.
Mhm.
All right.
Collection takes many parts, and a part of collection that people need to comprehend is what happens with different interactions with a collection company or a debt buyer. Not There's no one letter for all collection. So I'll be going into it tonight. When do you use the different dispute letters for what reason? So that was what we'll be going into tonight.
Awesome. Good stuff. So I hope that answers your questions for those who are watching in general admission and on our day pass and those here with us. Yes, that will begin at 8 o'clock. So let's take our next question up from Vezo. Veso. You are up to pick Doreen's brain tonight.
All right, let's get it. Let's see what you got.
Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Vez Solutions, Chris Varela, and I actually had two questions.
What you got for me? Talk to me.
The first one I put in the chat, and while pulling my reports, I saw that and I knew I was having probably a battle with Navy Federal, but on the report, my last payment was made December 22nd.
What year?
2022. The statute of limitation is 3 years. So we would look at 2025, right? However, they reported that I made a payment on January 2023. Then the following month, they had me 60 days late. And March, they had me 60 days late. February, they had no data on me. So right.
All right. So this is a late payment situation. So
so I didn't know. So I knew this was gonna happen, but not knowing, the sheriffs were in front of my house one night, and I went to see what was happening. So they served me court papers. However, I lost the court papers in transition. But I'm looking at this now.
Define transition. Did you move? Like
yes, I moved. I'm in South Carolina now.
Okay. And during that time, you're saying that you lost the paperwork.
Yes.
So that would also mean that you didn't know the court date because you lost the paperwork and they got a default judgment, kind of basically. Is that what happened?
I'm thinking. I haven't heard anything yet.
How long ago? Did you read the document to at least have an idea when the court date would be?
I think it was in March. No. I think it was in May. I'm sorry, May.
May. So we're in May now.
Yeah, I think it was either April.
Do you
or May.
remember what court it was supposed to happen?
I actually don't. No.
What about the sheriff? Are you able to get in? I think you could call the court or call the clerk or even write the clerk and provide your name and see if they can find a copy of that summons because they should be able to pull it.
Right.
Or if you could drive up there or fly up there or something. You don't want to give these idiots the satisfaction of getting a default judgment because now we're going to talk about you going back after them now for violations. And then if you're not confident in going back after them, they can now start levying and taking money from your bank accounts.
Okay.
So it's a matter of which battle you want to fight. The best solution to this, in my opinion, and this is not legal advice, is to contact the court. Right? Find out when the court date is supposed to happen. And if it has not passed yet, show up. You're in the university, right?
Yes.
All right. So we'll go over more of strategy in terms of collecting data. And when I say collecting data, I'm talking about an evaluation of the whole process, the dispute letters that you've sent out, and the responses that they should have given. We'll go over that. But for the most part, the most important thing right now is finding out if that court date had passed or when is it going to be. And if it had passed, ask the clerk the question of, you let them know what happened. The document got lost because I was in transition between one location and another. And when I was moving, the movers and paperwork got lost. So I want to know, okay, they got let's say, and if they got a default judgment, if the clerk tell you that they got a default judgment, okay, what are my options now? Let's ask these are the questions you want to ask. Do not be shy about asking these questions. What are my options now? Can I reopen the case? Can I sue them? Like, ask these questions. And if the date has not passed, then that's good because it gives you a little bit of time now to put your ducks in a row. But you don't want to give them the satisfaction of getting a default judgment. You don't.
Okay. And one more question, Duran. While pulling my reports, I looked at TransUnion to see that they stated that they sent my information to a couple of companies for promotional purposes. They didn't share my social or anything like that. So is that a violation? Aren't they supposed to ask for permission?
All right. So there's a thing. It's a gray area, right?
Right.
And I can't remember what it's called. But if you Google how to opt out of promotional emails and stuff like that, something's gonna come up. I haven't done this in years. But there's a way to opt out of all promotions, I just can't remember how you do it. But if you
I know you get, like, I do get advertisement emails.
Yeah, so
let's say
there's a
shoe
thing.
companies that I go to,
somewhere
right?
you can go. You can actually go to a website and opt out, and it removes you from all the database.
Okay.
So just Google it. How to opt out of all promotion and spam emails. And you will start and just do a little research on it. I just don't remember what the name is because I haven't done it in years.
Okay.
Right? And you'll start there. Now, as it pertains to your information, well, what information did TransUnion give out? And did they give out just information or did they give out your consumer report?
So can I ask them? I can go back and ask them what information was provided.
Why not? I would.
Okay.
All right. So thank you very much, Vzo. Great
Okay.
questions. We got 10 minutes, so we're gonna get these other questions out of the way. All right.
Yes. All right. Up next, we have William. You are next, King.
What's going on, Will?
What's going on, Duran? How you doing, man?
I am doing amazing. Thank you for asking.
Right. Yeah, I know your voice sounds a lot better. That's what's up.
Yes. Claim it. God damn it, it's back. Talk to me.
All right, bro. Yeah, last week I had I had an issue with this debt collector trying to collect on me that I took to court and I won against them. And you told me what letter to send them, right? So I'm ready to go on that, but there's an issue with the account number that they reported to the three CRAs, right? The account number at Equifax, the first six numbers are X'd out and it ends with 65. But the other two, the Experian and TransUnion, the account number starts with a 1601 and the last four numbers are X'd out. So I don't know which account number to put on the letter or if I should put both or how I should go about it.
Okay, so how you can do it is this. So each consumer reporting who are you going after?
The
debt collector, right?
Investments, yes. Sending them.
So what I would do is you could just put the account name and then just put the account as it shows up for each consumer reporting agency. So if Equifax truncates the first six and then gives you the last four, show it that way. If TransUnion do it the opposite way, just put the account on there the way it is on your report.
Okay, and then just label each from each CRA and put, I got you.
Correct. The name or the alleged creditor, the name of the account and what the account is showing. So when I'm doing it, what I normally do is I'll just copy it. So I'll pull up the report, and however it shows on the report, that's how I copy it and I paste it to the letter.
Okay. Now, doesn't this
Or
bring? Okay.
you could print the report out, and you can redact. You can redact information that you don't want them to see and only leave visible their account. That's another way to do it.
Okay.
So that way you're showing the report, you're showing how their account is listed, but everything that is unrelated to them, you redact that part. That's another way you can do it as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that was my main issue, because I know you said.
So walk me through real quick. What was round one?
Told me to send a notice of validations of debt 12 CFR 1006.24C.
Okay,
to
great.
the debt collector.
How did they respond?
I haven't sent the letter yet because I had this issue with the account numbers.
With the account number. Okay, I got you.
So that's why I'm asking you. So I'm about to do that. I'm gonna get that in the middle tomorrow.
Perfect. You're good to go.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, William. Nish, back to you.
All right. All right. Up next is Diamond. Diamond,
shine bright like a diamond. The rain.
Hey.
You know, let me not get too excited and push this voice. I just got it back.
Hey. So, quick questions are, okay, so I'm a new credit repair business, as I've informed you in the past. I'm having a couple of issues with my clients sending me their responses, which is very frustrating, but at the same time, you can't make anybody do anything. So my first question is, if you were in that position, how do you go about it? Because I want to keep the flow.
Perfect.
I want to grow, and I want my receipts.
So what you want to do is I recommend you guys do weekly updates. And the weekly updates can be, you can do it in a Zoom setting, right? So you see how we have our university calls every Monday and bi-weekly Sunday calls for the software and stuff like that?
Yeah.
You want to break them into that. So they know, like, let's say the first Sunday or every Sunday, you got to pick which one you want to do. But regardless, it's communication, right?
Right.
You have their phone number. You can send them a text. You're able to track all the stuff because you have the tracking number. So education is important. And the reason why a lot of the clients are the way they are is because of lack of knowledge. Right. If they knew what they can accomplish by being receptive and by communication, they'll be more responsive. But the fact is they don't know what they don't know. And they think that, I got Diamond Solutions taking care of my credit. It doesn't require anything from me. So when you onboard a client, it's important that you let this expectation be known. Hey, we will be doing weekly updates. So let's say every Thursday at 8 p.m., we're going to have a Zoom call, and this Zoom call now will be going over updates. So you're going to have a list of all the disputes that were sent out, right? And what responses are supposed to come back. So if you know that Tinkerbell was your client and it's been more than 30 days, and you're like, hey, Tinkerbell, I'm following up on the dispute letter that was sent out on March 1st. Did you get a response from Portfolio? Something came in the mail. Let me go check for it. Like it's going to be like that until they really get into the program. But at first, this is normal. It's normal. It's a lack of education. That's why they're so hard to deal with in the beginning. But once you train them right, like for example, y'all know that when challenge time comes, y'all supposed to get on the challenges. Y'all know when it's Monday night, y'all are supposed to get on the Monday calls. I don't have to call each one of you and say, hey, we're having Monday call. It's time to come. You get what I'm saying? Because on Mondays, all the questions that you have get answered. on the challenge, you get an opportunity to ask and share your results and let people know that Diamond Solutions is one of the best credit repair companies in America. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
But
do.
it
And
comes
I
from
really
communication. So you gotta work them some more.
I really thought that I was being very I thought I was doing great with my communication because I text them very often. I have good relationships with all of them. I text them, I send them emails, I send them documents to educate them. But to be honest, I could tell that some of them aren't reading what I'm sending because they're not
Absolutely.
noticing the importance and getting it done. But
This is
I think
where
I'm gonna
you can
start
have
doing
an
the Zoom
assistant. Get a
call.
VA. Get an assistant, get like an executive assistant, right? You
Yeah.
can get like a VA for like $8 an hour, $10 an hour. And it could even be part-time too. Excuse me. It doesn't have to be full-time, but you can have them solely do calls, follow-up calls, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you provide a spreadsheet to your EA, your executive assistant or your VA, and you say, hey, on Saturdays between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., I want you to call all these people. Here is Tinkerbell's profile. This is the update. Find out if they have any questions. You can do that as well. And
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start doing that because
that will
I text and
separate
I
your
email, but I
business.
don't call.
That will separate your business from everybody else's because they know, hey, you know what? Diamond Solutions should be calling this week because every week we get an update from Diamond Solutions. So now people
Right.
start looking forward to it. It could be
Right.
something as a simple call as, hey, Tinkerbell, guess what? Your credit score just went up 100 points. We got 3 collections deleted and 1 late payment. And we wanted to share that information with you. And people will go crazy. They'll go crazy. But what it does is it creates a trust and a relationship between your business and theirs. So when you ask them for a testimonial, they're going to go head over heels because they're going to come on and they're going to say, yo, working with Diamond Solutions is an amazing thing. Every week I would get updates. I never have to wonder what's going on with my like you want people to be your advocate.
Right. Right.
And it comes through communication.
Right. Okay, last quick question because I know it's 8 o'clock.